How's it going? Welcome back to Daily Endeavours for Thursday the 14th of October? No, August. My name's Jackson. There'll be timecodes in the description if you're just looking to fast forward to one of these options, if you don't want to listen to everything else because you already know it or all that stuff. So this set, not great, not terrible, but yeah, not amazing. If I were to choose, I would go crafting with Clothier, destroying Frost Atronachs, and doing a daily quest. Infinite Archive, it just takes a while, and for people who don't have a companion, finding a player for this, sometimes it can take longer than just doing these other options, just to find a player, let alone do the Infinite Archive. And Cyrodiil, like dealing damage in Cyrodiil, unfortunately, this only counts for players. They don't state it in the tooltip, but keep walls, like regular, like Dremora in Bruma, for example, hurting them, like dealing damage to them doesn't do anything for this endeavor. Or like, attacking guards at a resource, for example, that doesn't work. The only thing that works for this is players. And I don't like doing these for that reason, just because, like say Frost Atronachs, you know where to find these, and you know what they're going to do. You can't expect players to always be in certain locations, and players are smart. They're not like Frost Atronachs. They're not just going to charge at you, do the same thing, and like you just whittle them down and that's it. Players heal themselves, they move around, they don't just sit in your AoEs. It's a lot harder to deal damage to players than it is to deal damage to a Frost Atronach or two at a time. So my advice is just don't bother with this one if you can find easy access to Frost Atronachs, and I think there's a really easy couple of places to find them. Now doing 5, there's only one that I would suggest, but I will go through some options there just in case. So we'll start with Clothier. In order to do this, by minimum, you're going to need at least either 20 jute, 20 rawhide, or a combination. So each item is going to require 5 jute. I don't suggest crafting chest items or leg items because they require more materials. If you don't have any jute or star materials or rawhide, let me show you some ways to get some. So star materials, go to any blacksmith, clothier, or carpenter. In the store, they will all provide star materials for 15 gold apiece. Every town with a major crafting hub will always have a clothier, blacksmith, and carpenter of some kind. Everywhere you can do writs. I'll also just mention writs real quick. Doing a single clothier writ will provide you 3 items that you need to craft for this, and writs are really good because they give you a lot of different things. You can get surveys, which come up as other endeavors and give you lots of resources to use for other writs. You can get golden materials such as drag wax for the clothier writ in specific, which are great. They sell for a lot. You can make a lot of gold from those, and you can also use them yourself for master writs, for clothing items, and for clothier furniture, such as, I believe, beds. Oh no, are they woodworking? Okay, if you're in need of some jute or rawhide to craft with, what you can do is go to Stormhold. The quickest way to get here is through the Ample Domicile if you don't have this Wayshine. What you do is you go to Browse Homes in Home Tours here in the Group Finder, go down to the Ample Domicile. Any house here, travel there, it will do so for free. Once you enter the house, turn around, go out the front door, and you rock up in Shadowfen. Once you arrive in Shadowfen, you're looking for these 2 huts here. This one, and this one. Interesting. Get here, go into stealth, go behind this person here at the first tent. Don't talk to him accidentally. Grab the gloves, 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 gloves. Now you've got to be a little careful of this person here. Just keep an eye on her as you're doing this. She'll come past, she'll interact with this wheelbarrow, and then she'll walk away. Now, if if you've got Vampirism or the Blade of Woe, you can just take her out now, and this person won't see you. That is one thing, but yeah, you just have to be careful because she'll detect you as you're doing this. Steal this stuff as well. And then we come over to the other tent. There are a couple of clothing items on this, but this person tends to be watching it a lot, so I find it hard to loot that stuff easily. This stuff here, it's the same thing, except this character will sometimes turn around. You just got to be careful. But there's nobody that just comes over here to stop you. So if you hide behind this bit of the tent here, it's difficult for her to actually see you when she's just standing there like this. So there's a hat here. There's a couple of more clothing items here that you can grab from this location, and she won't actually see you. But just be a little careful with her and the guy just right here. The reason I use this over other places, like for example, the Aegis of Oriel in Auridon, a vocal guard, this place, like the area is very small and the people constantly watch the stuff there. I find Shadowfen is like one of the best places for doing this. There's other places, Belkarth and Craglon, for example, but this is the one I personally find to be the best. So now that we've got our items, just go through and select them all for deconstruction. And you receive a bunch of jute for this. So a little more of that and we'd get enough jute to craft with. And then you just need to get a couple more items to use as style materials. Shoes, like this. And then what I would do is just deconstruct that, and you'll get some of the materials you put into it back. And you can see we've got all our style materials back, so a little bit. That basically didn't cost us anything. Okay, Frost Atronachs. My advice here is to use the Spell Scar in Craglorn, but there are some other options which I'll go through. So let's first go to Craglorn and to Spell Scar. If you haven't been here before, again, home tools will be your best friend. So what we want to do is either travel to a house called Hackfield's High Hall. Let me just clear this out. Or you travel to Elinir Private Arena. Whichever one. They're both about as close to Spellscar as each other. Now, if you go to Hackfield's, you'll just have to travel west, and Spellscar is over here. What you can also do is travel to this Wayshrine, go to Belkarth, and then travel up here, and do that instead. Whichever way works for you. Okay, so you are headed to the southwest side of Spellscar over here, and that right there is a Frost Atronach. So that's what you're looking for. Now, as you can see by all the dead Frost Atronachs, everybody else has got that same idea. So even if you have a weak character, the odds are when you get here, there'll be so many other people doing this that you don't need to like be very good to be able to handle this stuff. It's just that also at the same time, all the Frost Atronachs will die very quick. So just tap them a couple of times. Try not to just like kill them as fast as you can, just so you can give other people the time to hit them and get participation as well. Because you don't need to kill them yourself, you just need to do any damage to them at all, and it'll count for the endeavor. There's approximately 10 from what I can see. Yeah, maybe less than that, maybe 8 or something. And they spawn every couple of minutes or so. But yeah, sometimes they can spawn quick, sometimes they can't. Location number 2 for Ice Atronachs, it's quite similar to Spellscar, because the Atronachs, there's all 3 of them. You've got the Storm, the Flame, and the Frost Atronachs, but they're a lot weaker. So if there's a lot of other people here, the Atronachs die super fast, so it's kind of hard to get participation there. But this is another option here, Willowgrove. The quickest way I know of to get here, if you have no Wayshrines, is either to use the Boatswain in Auridon to get to Rolka, right here, or you can use Sleet Creek or Serenity Falls, and then through home tours, and then just travel via these houses to this Wayshrine. And then from this point, you'll have easy access to this location. There is another area if you have access to Hrothgar. This area over here near Ice Reach, there is actually a hidden cave that you need to reach for a quest. Unfortunately, you can only enter this area if you've completed the quest A Feast to Remember. It used to be accessible by everybody, but they changed it for... I don't know why they bothered taking time to change this, but they did. So yeah, there's so much other shit to fucking change in this game, but they changed that. I don't know why. Okay, that's 5. Let's move on. Now moving on to a daily quest. There's 5 you can choose from. The Undaunted Delve daily works. Unfortunately, pledges don't. I still don't understand why they've never changed that. The Fighter's Guild daily, so completing one, destroying one Dolmen from all the capital city Fighters Guilds. The Mages Guild one is the one I prefer though, the Public Dungeon daily quest. There is also the Heists and the Black Sacraments from the Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild questlines. These require the DLCs. They're pretty quick, but I still would just prefer to do Mages Guild, especially if you haven't completed your focus script for most of your characters for scribing, because these ones here, the Mages Guild quests give you curated ones, which means the ones you don't have, it will give you one each day for these. And yeah, I just prefer doing that instead, especially for things like multi-target, for doing the scribing kills endeavor, or things like, you know, immobilize is also really helpful for certain things. So what is involved in each? For the Mages Guild one, you find a chest in a public dungeon. It is instance, which means for other people, the chest is invisible, so they can't claim what you need to find in the chest. It won't actually, like, everyone has the same chest, and if someone else needs to grab an item from it, it doesn't affect you in any way. Fighters Guild, you have to do a dolmen in a specific zone. It can be any of the Alliance ones. Some of them can be really good, like for example, Alika Desert, all the dolmens are really close to a wayshrine, but other ones like Stormhaven, for example, there can be some dolmens that are a pain in the ass to get to, like this one. The Undaunted Delve is even more annoying, in my opinion, because you have to do delves. And one of the requirements is to kill the Delve boss. If another player comes in and kills them, you're waiting for that Delve boss to respawn, and it can take up to 5 minutes. The other thing is, you need to basically do the same thing as the Mages Guild one as well, so there's 2 things into it. Except some of them are not instant, so other players can actually pick up the items that you need, and it means that you're still, like, if other players are around, it makes it harder for you, because everybody's trying to fucking compete for the same stuff. So I just don't like bothering with this one. For the Thieves Guild one, all you have to do is find a bunch of locked chests in an instance area. And yeah, it takes usually no more than 5 minutes for that one. So that one's pretty good too. It's just that if you haven't done them before, getting access to the heists through Hughes Bane. So you need to do the long game in order to get access to heists. And it takes several hours usually, doing all the Thieves Guild quests, especially since, like, it's very easy to get a bounty in them. So yeah, sometimes it can be painful doing those. But once you get access to heists, they're really easy. The other one is Gold Coast, which is Dark Brotherhood. So I find a Lesson in Silence to be quicker to get to, but you'll also get a big bounty doing that. But Black Sacraments, unlike heists, you can also get a bounty from those. You can actually get a bounty from heists, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, if I were to choose a lesson... Oh, sorry. Black Sacraments are quicker, usually, but heists don't give you a bounty, so it just depends. Do you want a bounty or do you want to do it quicker? But yeah, if I were to choose, I'd just do a Mages Guild one, especially for some, like for example, yeah, East March. This one's really easy actually, because the public dungeons are right next to the starting wayshrine. I believe it's Grimhearth's Woe, or is that the one in yeah, Grimhearth's Woe. So what we'll do instead, if we don't have the wayshrine, let me show you an easy way to get there. So again, browse homes, just go down to Grimhearth's Woe. The only thing is, just remember you have to take off the other houses that you've put in this list, otherwise they'll show up too. So Grimhearth's Woe, yeah, we'll just travel to this as well. Home tours, it's so damn good. Unfortunately, like, previewing houses doesn't work the same way. If you preview a house and then leave, it just takes you back to where you came in from. Whereas if you use home tours to travel to somebody else's house, you will rock up right, like, where it is. So it's just, yeah, use this one. Like, use home tours. It's so good. I'll leave this home, and we're in East March. And we'll be right out, basically right next door. So some public dungeons are more of a pain to get to. Probably one of the most notable is Lion's Den, because the wayshrine that you start with in the Rift is over here. It's all the way on the other side. What you can do instead, again, home tours. Anytime you need a public dungeon, use home tours. Look up player homes on unofficial Elder Scrolls pages. They will have every home. Just search, use the find tool or Control F on keyboard, and look for like the zone that you need, and just look up all the houses. It will give you a map that shows you where they are, and you can just use these, or you can look them up on the map itself. And yeah, all you got to do, just travel to this, go out here, down southwest a little bit, and yeah, Lion's Den's right there, and you can get this wayshrine too. So yeah, home tours, so damn good. So all of these chests that you need to complete these Major Skill dailies, they will always be around where the group event is. Okay, so here's the chest. And yeah, you can see this player's grabbing it. But even if they grab it, it doesn't affect us. Okay, so now that we've received the chest, or if you've done the Dolmen or the Undaunted Daily, whatever it is that you've chosen, the other two you don't have to worry because they're instants. It'll take you straight to the quest giver. But if you buy this house, it gives you easy access to all the ones in Deshaan. There are other ones. For example, in Grotwood, you've also got Snowpod. But this is more expensive, and it only gives you quick access to the Undaunted one, whereas the other two are in the Great Tree, and you can't mount in those places, so I find it slower to go through. So what I would just do instead is get Flaming Nexus, because it's cheaper, and this area is just easier to use. Stormhaven's not too bad either, but the issue with Stormhaven is that with the Wayrest house, it is super expensive. This one here, it's like several 100,000 gold to get. So yeah, don't really recommend that one. Okay, returning to Alva Baron, hand that one in. We get some Major Skilled merits, which also gives us one of these focus scripts that we don't have yet. Gives you some other stuff, some ornate stuff, some raw materials which you can use for various endeavors too, so all this stuff's nice as well. Alright, now onto the option for Infinite Archive stages. So, player or companion? Players are definitely better than companions, but companions will be more convenient because you don't have to wait for a player to come in. So my advice for companions, it's preference, but I like to use restoration staff on them because that tends to mean that they stay back the most. Because the closer they stand to enemies, the more they usually have to deal with like AoEs on the floor and shit like that. But generally, companions are going to be pretty dumb, and you can't really rely on them to do much more than just stay alive. But restoration staff means that they can heal you, which is nice. So finding Infinite Archive for the first time, you have it by default. As soon as you go to a wayshrine, you can travel in here. So you find this in the Apocrypha zone. You don't need any DLCs to actually access this. You do to get to the rest of Apocrypha, but you can actually travel to this place via a wayshrine any time you're ready. So this here is a stage. These are smaller rounds that split into 3 where you fight just a small group of enemies. After 2 stages, there'll be a boss. It's called a cycle. Unfortunately, cycles don't count for the sake of doing the stages endeavor. Yeah, I really wish I did, just for speed up sake. So my advice for doing the initial stages is anytime there's ranged enemies, stack on them first, because usually the melee enemies, especially if you don't have a companion, if you have a player, stack on the same enemy, and what will happen is the melee enemies will come straight to you, and it means that you can stack up enemies better. Because while the ranged enemies won't chase you, the melee ones will. So if you're stuck on the ranged ones, the melee enemies will come back to you. Now every 3rd wave, there will be one of these tougher enemies here. Well, not all the time, but yeah, majority of the time there will be. Now, usually I find it's better to kill the little enemies with AoE first, instead of focusing big time on the big enemies, but it depends. Some of the big enemies are a pain in the ass, like the Wraithcrow dude. That dude is just a menace sometimes. Same thing with the Iron Atronach.
I tend to focus that one first. Now, you can also get a Frost Atronach as one of the bosses, or I believe... yeah, you can get it as a tier 1 enemy from the last stage of last wave of a stage, but only one usually. Like, you're not going to get many from Infinite Archive. You'll need to at least kill some outside if you want to do these two at once. Right, so every time you complete a stage, you get a buff called a verse. These last until the next stage, or cycle, or arc. They are usually pretty powerful, but sometimes, especially in the early stages where you're not going to be taking much damage, a lot of these can be not that valuable. Yeah, I'll just go this one. Heavy attacks with dual wield is pretty good. And now we go to the next stage, and it's literally the same thing. It's just in a different area. So we'll do this one, and then after this, it will be a cycle with a boss. So these vanguards here, these dudes, let's see if I've got them. You want to make sure you interrupt their channel, because if they get that off, they become really, really tanky for a while. Generally, you want to always be interrupting stuff, because it stops them from benefiting each other. Yeah, that's the second wave, and now you can see that we've got one of the big guys here. Now, depending on your ulti gain, especially with Nightblades with Soul Harvest, that can just generate ultimate like crazy. Oh yeah, here's one of the vanguards, by the way. That's the channel, so when they go like lightning form like that, it takes ages to fucking kill them. Yeah, with Nightblades, you could probably cast an ultimate on the first, like the last wave of the first stage, and you'll probably have enough ultimate for the final boss of just the normal boss of the cycle. Alright, no damage ones there that are of great use. So this is the cycle. So now we fight a boss. Now usually the very first boss that you fight in the first cycle will be pretty chill, but later on the cycle bosses get pretty difficult to fight. Some of them are quite advanced. But yeah, these ones are usually not too bad. Okay, don't get hit by that. Yeah, I forgot to... Yeah. With these Lamia matrons, it's usually a good idea to circle them because of that yell thing. That's like the most dangerous thing they can do. As long as you can avoid that, they're pretty chill. They have like a heavy attack, but that's it. Alright, so that's on cycle. So now, literally, the cycle repeats. So the next one will just be another stage, and yeah, as long as you can complete this with a companion or a player, that's it. We get the monument chest, which gives us some money. We get a vision. So these are like verses, except they're usually less powerful. Usually, sometimes you get really powerful ones, but yeah, it's not always. Damage shot for fire attacks is pretty damn good. We'll get that one. And now we, yeah, the cycle literally repeats. So we go in, and now it'll be another stage. So we do that 2 more times, and that'll be your stages done. Now you can keep going if you want, and if you're going to go further, my advice is, so you can use this index here to get back to the start. My advice would be, make sure you pick up a quest if you want to go further, because eventually you'll get to the final boss of Infinite Archive, and in that case you'll complete the quest, and you'll get a bunch of fortunes for that, which is very valuable. Yeah, if you want to go back in, you just hit the archival wings, and if you find a boss that's like just so obnoxious you don't want to deal with it, this hourglass here resets the whole place. So you'll get taken out, and as soon as you travel back inside, the whole place will be reset. You'll get different bosses, different stages, and so maybe you can get something different that'll be easy for you to deal with. If you want to bring a player instead of a companion, the 2 places, or the 2 ways I would do this to get a player, probably the most effective ways. One is to just go to a populated zone, such as Craglawn, the capitals, the starting zones, because you don't really need like 2 people in Infinite Archive for the first few stages. Pretty damn easy. You can honestly just bring a level 3 random bob from any zone that you find in here, and as long as you are decently capable, basically if you can do a normal dungeon, you can do Infinite Archive with 2 people. It's the first stages are pretty chill. The other way I would do it, yeah, just like ask in zone if someone wants to do it. The other way I would recommend it is through the group finder. Maybe just try Infinite Archive here. Just create one. Yeah. See, you can see someone else has got the same idea. So you just go dailies there, join that one, see how it goes. Or you can just create one, Infinite Archive, 2 players, and just go Endeavor run. And yeah, don't worry about any of this stuff here. So yeah, that's personally what I would do. But yeah, nothing wrong with a companion. You saw Ember did pretty fine there. If you want to go further in Infinite Archive, usually, especially like dealing with Thoat, having a like melee companion can be pretty rough for that fight because she will put AoEs on the floor constantly, and yeah, companions usually die from that shit super fast. Not so much the case with healers because they stand far back so much usually. Or sometimes magic like range damage healers are okay, but I don't rely on them too much because companions don't do much damage. When you're ready to leave Infinite Archive, you just go to this portal here. This will take you back to where you came in from. So it's very convenient because you go to a Wayshrine to come in here, you go there and it takes you back to a Wayshrine, so you can just continue on doing other stuff that you wanted to do. Okay, any questions? Just give me a comment as always. If I'm conscious, I will usually reply to them. Thanks everyone for watching, thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time. Take care for now.